Konnichiwa, what's up, my Yukijins? This is Miyuki. Thank you for clicking this video. Today we are doing something different. And speaking of different, have you noticed something? Yeah, it is disappointing. My bangs, it's full of regrets.
At least it grows, right? Not like your ex.
Anyways, before this video starts disturbing people's peace of mind, I would like to share you a story about encountering my worst landlord in Taiwan. I think the community in our subreddit knows what I'm talking about because the story ended up on TV news all over Taiwan. Yeah, it was that crazy. I just want to share this one big mistake that led to a nightmare. And also, I would like to share what I learned from this because I think you'll want to hear this. It is pretty amazing and eye-opening experience. But before that, please don't forget to join our subreddit where we share Japan-related memes. I'll put the link in the description. Mairimashou! So I arrived in Taiwan in the middle of May this year. And as some of you guys watched the vlog, I stayed in a quarantine hotel for 14 days. There was a window, but no sunlight coming into my room. Taking fresh air outside was of course not allowed, and the only marginally fresher air you can get is when opening the door for food delivery. Really, it was crazy. Finally, on my checkout day on the 15th day, because they don't really count the first day when you arrive there, which sucked, but I get it. We should follow the rules. But just imagine being in a dark, small room for 15 days without getting any fresh air. I cannot explain how I felt when I stepped out from that hotel quarantine. I just absorbed, take in, as in I stand outside soaking up the sun for a hot minute. Then I took the cab to my new apartment that I thought was an apartment in Taoyuan City. By the way, that time was when the cases in Taiwan started to increase and many stores were closing. We were not allowed to eat in restaurants. They just actually lifted the restrictions lately after 3 months. So I arrived there and contacted my landlord. I found this listing in AirBnb and chose this place for 3 reasons. 1, because it was close from my school. 2, landlord speaks Japanese, and 3, it has aircon because who wants to live in a hot place without AC? I work at home and I knew my class would be online because of the COVID situation that time. When I saw the listing on Airbnb, it looked just fine. It has AC. It looked like a decent apartment. So it was a very hot day and I carried my heavy suitcase and backpack upstairs because it was on 2nd floor. I was sweating and I actually couldn't sleep the night before. So I was very tired when I arrived there. But when I came inside the place, I dropped my jaw with fear from what I saw. It was nothing like what I saw on Airbnb listing. What the landlord described on his Airbnb listing was not reality. Some of the photos are not even real. I walked into a place resembled something out of a hoarder's TV show with junk stacked in the ceiling, roaches on the ground, and I was told not to use the AC, okay? First of all, the room does not even have air conditioning. It was only the living room that looks like a garbage land. I'm not even kidding. Now you remember I said that I thought it was an apartment, but it was just like a dormitory where there is really no privacy. It was very disgusting. If I was in Japan and same thing happened to me, I could just say no, I'm not staying here, peace out. But I'm in a country where they speak different language. I mean, I didn't know where to go if I said no, and I didn't know anyone, and pretty much everything was closed. It was hot, plus I was so tired that day, so I took the bullet. I heard there are other women who are living on the same floor, so I told myself, Miyuki, suck it up, and it's okay to not have AC because you can make new friends here. So this stupid Miyuki decided to pay this landlord as I was asked, and I gave him 5 months rent in cash. I know many people will be blaming me for doing this, and I get it. I make mistakes. I made a mistake and I was just so exhausted and I just wanted to take that rest that day, which led me to sleepless nightmares. Oh my gosh. I was only told that the landlord will be living in the same floor after I paid him, and that was the beginning of my nightmare. He didn't tell me that before I came. I'm only hearing it after I paid him. So, again, Miyuki, you really fucked up. The landlord is a night owl, so he usually gets up at night and watches TV or do something, other things like repairing stuffs. Like, who does that in the middle of night? Okay. He would also grill fish in the living room, and that smells. And do you know the reason he didn't want us to use the aircon? Even though I paid for it. By the way, I paid double amount of the rent compared to my other dorm mate. He said not to use it because it is dangerous for everyone if one of us gets sick. Like the air will get contaminated, I guess because of the corona. I was taking online classes while I was struggling with heat, and there was even one time when my dorm mate saw my face, like she said that I looked really pale because I don't know. I didn't really realize it, but she said to use the aircon. When my other roommate turned on the aircon, the landlord just got angry and told her not to use it because it just got repaired, and if we use it, it will get broken again.
I don't know, maybe buy a new one?
Anyways, it became clear that this was not the living situation that I expected, so I decided to find another apartment. And luckily, my two dorm mates, they secretly asked me if I want to move to another place with them because I was not the only one who was sick of this landlord. When I asked to get the following month's rent back, I was only met with lies and abuse from this landlord. It actually got a lot worse how he treated us. One day I was coming back from the laundromat and he told me he needs to talk to me. Luckily my friend was there and she told me to put my stuff inside the room, and for some reason I felt that it was a sign from her to record the conversation because she knows that I've been recording all the evidence. This is very important, guys. If you think something is wrong, just record it because you might need it later on, which in my case, it really helped me like a lot. So I put my stuffs in the room, I brought my notebook with my pen, and I started recording it using my iPhone. So basically he lied about a phone call that he received from a government official telling him that I needed to let him know my new address information, including the new landlord's name and phone number. I was talking to a police officer, Miss Emma, that night, and she told me to never give such information to him. I have been in contact with police officer Miss Emma since the situation got worse. When you are in Taiwan doing the quarantine in a hotel, the police officers will gonna call you from time to time to check on you, and that's how I knew Miss Emma. She was very helpful, and I remember that night I was crying while talking to her because I really felt I was in danger, although she told me that the police can't do anything unless he does something, really bad, like physically hurt me. They cannot do anything. It's a civil case, so I had to find a lawyer for this. The next morning, I went outside to find a payphone because my phone didn't have any balance because I used it all when I was talking with Miss Emma. And I wanted to contact the immigration officer to ask about what my landlord told me. And oh boy. Let me tell you how I struggled with this freaking payphone. Let me tell you why, because the payphone that I found was located in a main road. I couldn't hear anything at all. I was talking to someone from the immigration and I couldn't hear her at all. I was like praying, crying inside, telling, oh my God, Kami-sama, please help me. I just want to talk, please help me. And I was just so desperate. And after calling her a third time, I think, I was able to ask her to just call me instead on my phone, which was in the dorm. So, we can hear each other. She sounded like she was not in a good mood, but I told her I will have to go back to my place. So I asked her to call me in 5 minutes. And I remember from that payphone to My place was it was pretty far. It felt like I was running for my life, you know. I hate running, but I think that was the fastest run I did in my life. So I got back to the dorm and explained to her what happened and confirmed that the landlord was just really lying. When I confronted the landlord, he continued to lie and insisted that he needed that information, like ASAP. He verbally abused me, and when I refused, he got really mad. And by the way, I was also recording that time, and it really helped me, yeah. So at this point, I felt like I was in danger, so I immediately packed my things and left to my new apartment without my money. My other dorm mate has already moved to this new place, so everything is good here. I'm still living here, as you can see. I love it here so much. The landlord is so nice, like super, super, super nice. I think he's the nicest landlord I've ever met in my life. Anyways, I reached out to many organizations, but I was waved off. And Miss Emma, the police officer, introduced me to some law firms, and that is how I found Mr. Tsai's law firm. And I will put their link in the description. They were willing to help foreigners like me, and I'm very grateful for that. So they tried to settle this problem with the landlord, but he refused to talk to us. But I wanted to fight back because I also heard many rumors that he did really bad stuff to other tenants in the past, and my dorm mates were also not happy in his way, and I knew that if I let this go, I would regret it for the rest of my life. My law firm helped me to put a police report out, and luckily a news writer from Apple Daily was interested to share my story, so I decided to share it because I wanted to reach out and shed some light on this issue to hopefully prevent future incidents like this. And the day they published the article, I felt a little bit better because I knew myself that I made the right decision. Next morning, I woke up to many messages from different news shows and wanting to interview me about this incident, and I was surprised on how many news company picked that story, and I even saw myself on Yahoo News in Taiwan. I had to reply them that day, and I didn't know what to do, so I talked to this woman that I met in the airport. Maybe you know her from my other blog, and I asked her if I should do the interview on TV or not, and she encouraged me to do so. That day, I went to my lawyer's office and did the interview there without knowing the outcome. I'd never done anything like that in my life, so it was very scary, but one thing I was sure about was I was not going to stay quiet. So after the interview, they aired it on the same day, and after that, the landlord finally decided to give my money back. I received it last week. Was it worth it? I think so. It was not really about the money. I felt really good because I stood up for myself after failing because of my stupid mistakes. I think the biggest lesson I learned here is the importance of choosing courage over comfort. I know me sharing my story to the media was very hard because you are being emotionally exposed, and you can't do that without showing vulnerability. I know some people would think of it as a sign of weakness, but it is the opposite thing. It is actually showing your strength. I learned this recently from Brené Brown. She said that vulnerability is hard, scary, or dangerous, but it is not hard, scary, or dangerous as getting to the end of our lives having to ask ourselves, what if I would have shown up? What if I would have spoken up? Be seen, answer the call to courage, because we are all worth it, and you are worth being brave. From this experience, I learned that vulnerability is not about winning, it's not about losing, it's having that courage to show up when you can't control the outcome. So, of course, if you are brave, you are also going to know failure. And I think that's what most people are scared of. They might be scared looking like stupid, but I myself would still choose to stay in the arena. Even if I get my ass kicked, like what happened in the beginning, I don't regret staying in that place. And I am grateful for this awesome lawyers, awesome to Taiwanese friends, and Miss Emma. If you're watching, thank you so much for everything. So I just finished school and restriction here has been lifted, and I am excited to explore Taiwan. I am planning to visit the woman that I met in the airport next month in Kaohsiung, and I can't wait to share my journey with you guys. Thank you so much for watching till the end, and always remember to choose courage over comfort. The key is not to be afraid of being vulnerable. If you like someone, tell them. So what if you get rejected? You can actually save more time. And if you want to share a story, don't be afraid to tell it. I would like to share this quote from Theodore Teddy Roosevelt. I heard this from Brene Brown. Let me read it for you. It's not the critic who counts. It's not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done it different. The credit belongs to the person who's actually in the arena, who's faced with dust and sweat and blood, who strives violently, who errs, who comes up short again and again and again, and who, in the end, while he may know the triumph of high achievement, at least when he fails, he does so daring greatly. Well, that's it for today. Thank you so much. I'll see you around. Miyuki deshita. Bye!